Alright, as always, you can go to YouTube channel My Medical Nightmare and see 40 plus hours video on everything that happened to me. I have a small update regarding my situation as it applies to Grandview Neurology and neurologist Dr. Kyle Hudgens MD. Their office is located off Highway 280 in Birmingham, Alabama. As of this date, when you look up Grandview Neurology on the Google search engine, it lists their operating hours, and on Friday it shows they close at 2 p.m. In this call with Grandview Neurology, I am informed that the Friday closing time here has changed to 12 p.m. So yeah, this is evident of an increasingly disturbing trend, because you can listen to what happened to me in my visit, and what's going on in these places is the doctors are doing less and less work and making more and more money. So they're going home 2 hours earlier on Friday. I was on a waiting list that was 4 months long to see a neurologist with UAB Hospital, also in Birmingham, Alabama. Probably a lot of people out there who need the services of these doctors more than they need to go home early on Friday afternoon.
You've reached the answer service for Grandview Neurology. Please hold for next available operator. Thank you.
Good afternoon, Grandview Neurology Services answering service. This is Isaac. How may I help you? This is the after-hours service, sir. We take cancellations for the office after hours. Everything else, I would have to ask you to call back Monday, sir.
Okay, you don't close in for 2 hours, right?
No, sir. They close at 12 o'clock noon on Fridays.
Oh, wow. I thought it was 2 o'clock. Wow. Okay, yeah, I have an issue with billing.
Understood, sir. Unfortunately, though, if you need to speak to someone in billing, you would have to call them back Monday morning. They should be in by 6:30. Then just give the same number a call. They would be able to assist you, sir.
All right, and I have an issue with service also. Is that the same? Okay. All right, thanks. Your information online, you should update. It reads that you close at 2 o'clock on Friday.
Their normal hours are Monday through Thursday, 6:30 a.m. to 5 p.m. And on Fridays, they're only open from 6:30 a.m. to 12 noon.
Okay.
I understand your frustration, sir. However, I personally am just a secretary. All I do is take the cancellations. I don't have any access to that information.
Well,
otherwise, I'd be more than happy to change myself or make an attempt.
I would like to inform you of something, sir. The people that you work for at Grandview, the millionaire doctors, they are crooks and they are corrupt. And I'll call back on Monday and deal with my situation. Have a nice weekend. Yes, I was a patient, a customer of Kyle Hudgens MD, and he works for Grandview Neurology. And this is located off of Highway 280, Birmingham, Alabama. Alright, so I was referred to Grandview Neurology from a visit I had at America Family Care. That's AFC, Parkway East, Roebuck, Birmingham, Alabama. And this was on May 30th, 2019. So I had a standard x-ray done during this visit, and it was reviewed as having no injury present. Alright, so I got the original x-ray images, and I'll put them up here. And despite this diagnosis and pronouncement, yeah, and I was misdiagnosed because something shows up in these pictures. This was by Anna Maria Echenique, MD, DABR, for American Family Care. And in the x-ray images, you can see there is a translucent oval, and it shows up directly below and covering this area where I had pain that sent me around to many doctors and emergency room visits between 2018, 2019, going into 2020. 2021, this wound is still not healed completely. Alright, so despite American Family Care saying I had no injury present, they referred me to a neurologist. So funny how that works, right? So this visit, it was at Grandview Neurology, directly next to Grandview Medical Center off Highway 280, Birmingham. 3686 Grandview Parkway, Suite 600. Alright, so here's my bill from Kyle Hudgens, Affinity Physician Services, LLC. So there's another name this business operates under. Yeah, and if you want to see all the details about what happened to me regarding this injury, I've got over 10 hours video documentation with all my records, etc., scanned in, and it's on my YouTube channel, My Medical Nightmare. And please search the appropriate names here, and you'll come up with some information on this. I've very slowly recovered from this wound in 2018, and as I've gained strength, I've been able to go back and chase after these loose ends. Well, I went around to many doctors, medical professionals around the Birmingham, Alabama area, paid a lot of money, and I received substandard service. And I believe I was a victim of patient dumping throughout this thing. I have no insurance, and I have no source of income. I have no job. So I was a cash pay patient, and I believe this singled me out for this kind of treatment in the post-Obamacare world of American healthcare. I paid $256 to be seen by Grandview Neurology, Affinity Physician Services, LLC neurologist Kyle Hudgens MD. The doctor engaged in too much irrelevant small talk. When I moved the conversation to my end, he acted offended. I showed him printed, and I gave him copies of the discs, CD-ROMs, with my medical records and images. And that's X-ray, CT scans, and MRIs, showing the pebble-sized piece of bone that broke off the underside of my skull. And I was told no injuries or abnormalities were present. I showed him a CT picture from a few days earlier showing a CSF leak, infection, hole in the bottom of my skull, clearly visible head trauma 3 inches plus in diameter, in an MRI, CT, and I showed him some x-rays as well. In the image, he asked, Kyle Hudgens, he asked me when I showed him these pictures, well, what did they say it was? Alright, and so then I was told I had simply strained a neck muscle, and that was his diagnosis pronouncement that he wrote in his records. And he advanced a psychological etiology as well for a purely physical problem I was carrying, and he wrote in my records I was exhibiting aberrant behavior. And I had a chronic infection in my neck below this injury, and basically I was dying at this point. My health was sliding into serious decline. He did not write me any prescription for medicine, and he gave me no referral on to another doctor, and in his opinion was incorrect as well. It was a misdiagnosis, and his erroneous pronouncement adversely impacted future medical professionals' opinions of my injury. Last week I did some videos on my exchange with Birmingham Radiological Group, and they had 3 radiologists who misdiagnosed my x-ray, CT scans, and an MRI scan that I had done at St. Vincent's East Hospital, Ascension, and American Health Imaging. And these radiologists were Angus Baird, MD, at American Health Imaging. Julian Patrick Druhan did the x-ray and 2 CT scans for St. Vincent's East, Ascension. And Donald Shane Kelly, who did the CT scan I had with contrast also at St. Vincent's East Hospital. So yeah, when you go around and you have these different medical scans and you take the medical data and you move it on to the next doctor or hospital, yeah, and what's produced in these various medical encounters, this does not exist in a vacuum. But in my case, I got all my records and I took this around with me to these new doctors that I would visit, alright? And yeah, in this video series, I will illustrate how the erroneous pronouncements and the misdiagnosis of the 3 radiologists who are members of Birmingham Radiological Group that I mentioned, that information, it later adversely impacted the medical opinions of otherwise unrelated doctors. See, I took the St. Vincent's East Ascension imagery to Grandview Neurology and Kyle Hudgens. He took the pictures and yeah, he looked at them, and I gave him a disc, and he left the room where the medical encounter took place, and he went and looked at these pictures, I believe, on a computer for about 10 minutes. And then he came back into the room. So please note here, Kyle Hudgens, when I showed him these pictures, he didn't say, I can't look at those pictures, I don't know what I'm looking at, etc. He took the pictures and he proceeded to review them. Alright, and this is a very significant. Yeah, I asked him, what did the pictures look like? And he was kind of cagey, kind of quiet about what his thoughts were. And then he comes back and he asked me, well, what did the doctors, what did the radiologists involved in those scans say the diagnosis was?